In 2002, a shocking crime unfolded in Chongqing, China. Driven by jealousy, a man brutally murdered his former classmate, then fled across the border to Myanmar as a wanted fugitive. But what happened next defied all expectations. In just 1 year, this criminal somehow reinvented himself as the chief warden of a Myanmar police jail, murderer, escapee, and then a police officer? What twisted journey led to this unbelievable transformation? On the afternoon of July 3, 2002, Chongqing police received an emergency call. A reported homicide had occurred in Chansaman Water Alley, Yuzhong district. A young couple lay critically injured. Police and medical teams rushed to the scene immediately. Arriving officers were met with a horrific sight. A chaotic room, its white walls splashed crimson with blood. A man and woman lay dying in expanding pools of their own blood. Paramedics transported the victims urgently, but the male victim, having lost too much blood, could not be saved. His female companion, after hours of emergency treatment, finally regained consciousness. She identified herself as Dan Lin. She recounted how her boyfriend Zhong Qiong had invited two former classmates, Deng Yu and Liu Kan, for a dinner gathering at their home. None could have imagined this meal would become their death sentence. Through tears, Dan Lin pleaded with investigators. "I truly don't understand why Deng Yu and Liu Kan did this. What did we do wrong? They demanded money and we gave it. Why did they have to kill Zhong Qiong and try to kill me? Why did they gouge our eyes? They've ruined our lives forever." Following Dan Lin's testimony, police eventually apprehended Liu Kan in Weifang, Shandong. He was executed in August 2002. But Deng Yu? He had vanished without a trace. Not until 2004, after 2 long years of searching, did authorities finally track Deng Yu down in Myanmar. By then, the fugitive had undergone an unbelievable transformation. He had become the warden of a Myanmar detention center. How did a murderer become a prison official in a foreign land? What had Deng Yu experienced during those 2 years on the run? As the interrogation began, Deng Yu's confession would reveal a series of shocking, untold stories. Deng Yu was born into an ordinary Chongqing family, the only child of parents whose marriage was crumbling. His childhood echoed with endless parental arguments until their inevitable divorce. The court granted custody to his mother, Li Guifang, and so began their life of mutual dependence. Haunted by guilt over the broken home, Li Guifang indulged her son's every whim. This unconditional accommodation bred lawlessness in Deng Yu. By his mid-teens, the rebellious youth took pleasure in schoolyard brawls and bullying classmates. His meek mother could only watch helplessly, comforting herself that he'll grow out of it. But Deng Yu listened to no one. At the height of his arrogance, he unilaterally dropped out of school, convinced his innate talent would conquer the world without education. Reality struck hard. The swagger that earned him followers in school meant nothing in adulthood. With no qualifications, he couldn't even secure employment. Years passed in idle stagnation while former peers built families and careers. Still, Deng Yu refused introspection, clinging to delusions of unrecognized genius. That is, until reuniting with Liu Kan, his fellow dropout and kindred spirit. Over drinks, they laughed bitterly about their failed ambitions. "Since we can't earn money," one joked darkly, "why not take it?" The dangerous idea took root. Their gaze fell on Zhong Qiong, once their brother-in-arms who'd wisely abandoned their dead-end circle to become a mechanic's apprentice. Through hard work and his wife Dan Lin's business acumen, the couple had built a thriving clothing enterprise. Zhong Qiong's success, the wife, the shop, the comfortable life, became an unbearable provocation. Why him and not them? The resentment festered until fantasy became plan, and plan became action. With their plan set, Deng Yu began gathering information about Zhong Qiong from former classmates. Learning Zhong was in Chongqing, Deng was still pondering how to contact him when opportunity came knocking. Zhong himself reached out. The unsuspecting Zhong Qiong, delighted to reunite with old friends, warmly invited Deng Yu and Liu Kan to his home. Under the guise of a friendly gathering, the two prepared thoroughly for robbery before eagerly accepting the invitation. Around the dinner table, the three reminisced. Zhong enthusiastically shared his secrets to wealth, proudly detailing his clothing wholesale business. He openly embraced his wife Dan Lin before their guests. Each display of success stoked the flames of jealousy in the alcohol-fueled Deng and Liu. Finally, Deng could take no more. He pulled out a prepared fruit knife and pressed it to Zhong's throat, demanding all their money. Dan Lin screamed and lunged at Deng, but was no match for his strength. A single kick sent her sprawling before Liu Khan restrained her. The drunken Zhong sobered instantly seeing his wife subdued. Recognizing the murderous intent in their eyes, he revealed all their savings' locations, begging for their lives. Yet even after getting the money, their rage remained unquenched. They began slashing at Zhong and Dan Lin despite their pleas for mercy. With particular cruelty, they gouged out both victims' eyes, ensuring that even if they survived, they'd never be whole again. Only when the couple lay motionless in pools of blood did Deng and Liu finally leave, their bags heavy with stolen cash. But unknown to the assailants, Dan Lin still clung to life. During the attack, she had held her breath and remained silent even as blades pierced her flesh, feigning death to survive. After they left, she mustered her last strength to knock on the door until neighbors found her and called police. After emergency treatment, Dan Lin became the case's key witness. Through tears, she recounted Deng and Liu's atrocities, swearing to seek justice for herself and her murdered husband. Of the two perpetrators, Liu Khan faced swift punishment, captured and executed by August 2002. But Deng Yu had vanished, only to resurface later as the unlikeliest of figures, a prison warden in Myanmar. After committing the crime, Deng Yu and Liu Khan knew Chongqing had become too dangerous. They packed hastily and fled the province. Before leaving, Deng confessed the murder to his mother Li Guifang. Instead of reprimanding him, she gave him money to ease his fugitive life. Following the principle of every man for himself, Liu Khan fled to Weifang, Shandong, while the better-funded Deng Yu traveled from Chongqing to Shanghai, then to Yunnan, before finally crossing into Myanmar. Upon arrival, Deng immediately acquired a fake ID on the black market, transforming into Zhao Li, a Myanmar citizen. After months in hiding with dwindling funds, he took a job at a bar owned by a Chinese Myanmar woman. With smooth talk, Deng portrayed himself as a talented man down on his luck. The sympathetic owner, believing his story, used her connections to secure him a position in the local police force. Deng possessed no real skills, only the boldness and ruthlessness honed from years of street life. In Myanmar's turbulent climate, these traits were mistaken for leadership potential. Once familiar with police operations, Deng began currying favor with superiors, spending his entire salary on gifts. His flattery paid off spectacularly. Within a year, he was promoted to Warden. Now wielding power and wealth, Deng attracted women eager for his favor, one even bearing his child. Comfortable in his new life, he nearly forgot he was a wanted fugitive. But Chinese police hadn't forgotten. After extensive investigation, a 2003 tip revealed Deng might be hiding in Myanmar. Detectives from the task force partnered with Xishuangbanna Police and Myanmar's Shan State Special Region 4 Police. Initial searches for Deng Yu proved futile, until a sharp-eyed Myanmar officer noticed the warden Zhao Li bore striking resemblance to the suspect. To avoid alerting Deng, Chinese police conducted covert surveillance, confirming Zhao Li was indeed the missing killer. For the arrest, both countries' police staged an elaborate ruse. Under the pretense of a mandatory leadership meeting, Deng was summoned to the police headquarters. The moment he entered the conference room, Chinese officers subdued him. "Don't you know I'm the warden? I'll have you arrested for assaulting an officer," Deng shouted desperately. But his act crumbled instantly. Faced with irrefutable evidence, his defiance turned to despair as he begged for mercy, far too late for redemption. On February 23, 2003, under heavy police escort, Deng Yu returned to Chongqing to face trial. Like Liu Khan before him, he was convicted of aggravated home invasion robbery, a serious crime made worse by their brutal actions. The facts were indisputable. One victim dead, one permanently disabled, and Deng's audacious escape across borders. The court showed no mercy. The sentence: death, immediate execution. With a single gunshot, Deng paid the ultimate price for his crimes. But the reckoning didn't end there. His enabling mother Li Guifang, who'd known of the murder yet funded his escape, faced her own judgment. The court handed her a 5-year prison term for harboring a fugitive. As the prison gates clanged shut behind her, Li finally paid the price for a lifetime of indulgence. This tragic case forces us to confront difficult questions. What truly led Deng down this path? A mother's blind love? His own jealousy and moral bankruptcy? Or the toxic interplay of upbringing, society, and personal demons? Whatever the causes, one truth remains absolute. Cross the line of law, and judgment will find you. Every time. Now we turn to you. What lessons should we take from this story? Share your thoughts below. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this case, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow Case Diaries. There are plenty more cases coming your way. Got thoughts on today's story? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. See you in the next one.